Thanks for the support as a channel member, PP0476. I think I've officially won the trust of the board back because they've just given me £50 million to spend in January. Hello and welcome to Club 4, Part 15 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have something we don't show very often, just a couple of Premier League games. One of them is against a team called Barnsley that you may be familiar with off of previous bits on this series. My microphone seems lower than usual. I don't care for it. But since you're last with me, this is what's been going on. As you can see, reasonably successful time if we ignore the Watford game, which I've chosen to do. This is what the Premier League looks like. We are still only in 5th place. We are still 10 points off of the top 2. But importantly, we're only 5 points behind Arsenal in 4th with a game in hand. And as you saw, we're playing much better. We look like a much better team than we did last year. And I think that's excited the board enough to throw more money at me, which is good. I'll obviously spend it wisely on more Brazilian wonder kids, because that seems to have been the key to this season. But this is the team we're putting out there for the Norwich game today. We've got Pickford in goal, a back four of Sessegnon, Milenkovic, Banfalvi and Kawamata, Foderingham at the base of the midfield, because we're trying him out there. We could, really, I would like to spend £50 million on another defensive midfielder of the quality of Vargas so he doesn't have to play every game. Such a thing does not seem to exist, so I'll probably just buy 3 19-year-old strikers. But Foderingham at the base of the midfield, João Victor and Gravenberch ahead of him, Sancho, Virginia and George. I'm still not going to try. I know lots of you have tried to tell me how to say these players' names. Is it Kaio? Kaio George? I think it is, but he's just George. George is fine. Virginia is apparently right. Jair is apparently right. And João Victor is right. So I am just about saying them all correctly now, which is wonderful stuff. Right, what are we going to say? Can we pick up where we left off? That's usually my favourite thing. I fully expect... Yeah, I do expect you to keep our run going. We have been in very good form. Just that one slip up against Watford. Watford down in mid-table. Norwich also similarly down in mid-table. Worryingly, Barnsley in a bit of a relegation battle this year. Almost makes me want to lose against them deliberately in the second half of this episode. If we do end up losing against Barnsley, just assume that's what I did. I felt bad and deliberately lost against them because they needed the win more than me, which, that in itself is a nice situation to be in, bearing in mind where we've been for the majority of my time here at Spurs. The fact that we can just gift a victory off to Barnsley makes me feel good. All that being said, we've just had a really poor and uneventful first half. So we need to come back to life a little bit here. Not happy with the performances out there. We are going to push to a positive mentality for the second half, and we will push on more and more if we need to. Vargas might need to come on. Perhaps Foderingham isn't quite the same force at the base of the midfield as Vargas is. Perhaps Vargas is that much of a key player. He is that. I guess him and George are the two big differences from the team of last year. Here's Kawamata though, trying to make sure we don't forget about him. João Victor across to Gravenberch. And within 2 minutes of the restart, we have the breakthrough. It's Gravenberch with a lovely goal from miles out. João Victor picking up the assist. I love the fact that we've got such a good central midfield pairing today, with Rott not even in the team. Rott as one of the best young players in the world. But we have a lot of very talented young footballers. And again, I think that is what the board are enjoying. They can see the team is going places again. We had quite an old team when I arrived. It was very much a team who had... It was a lovely team. Lots of high quality players. Lots of famous people. Lots of people in their late 20s, early 30s who nearly got there but never quite got there. We've given away a penalty here through Sessegnon. Hopefully we'll have Jordan Pickford make the save because he loves doing all that. Go on, make a save. Make it 1-1, and it is an immediate reply from Norwich. So we've both started the second half brightly, which wasn't part of the plan. But as I was saying, I do think that even if we ended up finishing 5th or 6th again this year, I think we've made that much of an improvement to the players who were here, lowered the average age probably by about 5 years. We're now at a point where, yeah, we didn't quite get there, but the team is obviously going to get better. Whereas last year, it was we failed and this team isn't getting any younger. Right, I'm gonna push Sessegnon further forward and stick him on that left wing, playing as a winger. Kidd can come on and play at left back. George also not playing well, but we don't have a striker on the bench. Orlando and Greenwood, basically I'm done with them both. So probably it wouldn't be the worst thing if I did sign some Brazilian wonder kid strikers in January, just to give some competition on the bench, because Greenwood and Orlando, I gave them both a little bit of an opportunity, probably not enough of an opportunity, but they got a little bit of an opportunity and they didn't get the job done. So Dele Alli can come on and play up front. We are going to ask for some passion. We've gone attacking as well, and probably taking off George when we need a goal wasn't the best idea, but he wasn't playing very well and nobody is guaranteed a spot in the team. Jair we have done this a little bit recently. We've got 2 fullbacks playing on the wing at the moment and a midfielder up front. If you're wondering where we need to strengthen, maybe attacking players still. We've got a decent first team, but once you get past that, maybe not so much. Come on, let's get creative. I cannot believe we've got a midfielder and 2 fullbacks playing as our front 3 at the moment, and we're wondering why we're not scoring. Gravenberch charging through there. He's got Dele Alli in space alongside him. Doesn't choose to find him. Fotheringham plays Jair in, who beats his man and scores. And that's why you stick a right back on the right wing, because he's that good. I mean, he's too good to be playing at right back. Similar to Sessegnon. I mean, this squad is screaming for me to go to like a 3-5-2, 5-3-2 kind of thing. Fotheringham could drop back to playing that back 3 easily. Jair and Sessegnon would be beautiful wing backs. We haven't got any wide players apart from Sancho, who's very hit and miss. We've got 3 very talented centre. I mean, it really is taking shape as a wing back squad, isn't it? Do we need to be training wing back? I've talked myself into it. I've just said a good win when I meant to say we got away with it today, boys. But we might just clear that slot off and just get. I like vertical tiki taka. I want to keep that going, but let's get that training. Even my assistant manager's saying that would be a good one, because then you could have Jair there, Sessegnon there. That as a back 3 is top quality. We've still got Van Houston, who's not part of it as well. Then you can have. We don't even have to have the attacking midfielder in. It could be a 3 of João Victor, Vargas, Gravenberch, Rott. Rott could go in there. There's players to spare still in central midfield. And then I guess we lose out on Virginia. We lose out on Sancho. I mean, I'm not saying that's going to be what we're switching to, because we're doing well with this. But it's nice to know we have another option. And here are the next wave of Brazilian wonder kids, which if I manage to sign them, I'll show them to you towards the end of the episode. So we've got to play Barnsley first, which I think they have a big gap before the Barnsley game. So we might even have all those signings secured before then. They're not quite sorted yet. So if I manage to get them sorted, work permits being the issue as usual, I'll show them on the next episode, where of course we'll be looking at all of the January transfers anyway. But for now, let's take on Barnsley. This is the team we're putting out there to do it. It's pretty much the same team, just a couple of changes. Jair comes in at right back. Vargas comes in for Fotheringham at the base of the midfield. We've gone with Gravenberch and Rott in central midfield. And I think that it's taken me a little while to get here, but I think that is my first choice 11 at the moment. I think that is a very, very good side. We could just do with another striker of the quality of George, and hopefully that's going to be addressed with these players. There's 2 that I'm looking at, and I should have shown you the Barnsley team. I forget who we're playing. We'll go back and have a look in a second just to see who they've got. I do expect nothing but a win to keep our run going. So the Barnsley team, Esselink I signed, but he never got to play under me. I don't recognise. Okay, we signed O'Hara, but he never got to play. Pieri was there on loan. Those 2 are new. Stockbridge and Dean. Again, Dean's another one I signed, but we never saw. Stockbridge, obviously, was one of my English wonder kids who came in. Angerin, who's apparently not good enough for the Premier League, but still having a lovely time at Barnsley. Obviously, he'll score today now. But yeah, not good enough for the Premier League. As far as the comments section were concerned. Goodger's still there as well. And Vanna playing up front. Skuck down on the bench. That's interesting. Vanna has never scored. Well, he's going to score today because we clicked on him. Why is he in the team ahead of Scuck? What is going on? Marius Hegley's on the bench, by the way. We've got one of our channel members down on the bench, Marius Hegley, just knocking around down there for Barnsley. I tell you what, should we give him a little... Oh, he's not quite good enough for us. But that is awesome. Is he going to make his Premier League debut? Oh, no, he's already played once. It would have been perfect to have our first channel member to make it through to a first team game, make his debut in a game we could see. But hopefully he'll come on today. Marius, say hello to us down in the comments section. Virginia with the free kick early on, and there's Banfalvi to put us 1-0 up. And it's a very, very solid header from Laszlo Banfalvi. And I fear the worst for Barnsley today because... like I say, we are becoming a better and better side all the time. This 11 particularly looks a little bit special. And, yeah, poor old Barnsley don't look like the same side I left behind. Although there's a lot of the same players, but they're struggling a little bit. They're not having the best of times, and they need Kev to come back. I ain't going back. George plays it into Virginia. Virginia back to Rott, and Rott makes it 2-0 on 27 minutes, and it's a lovely goal. Very well worked, and lovely to see our players just kind of drifting around into each other's positions, because we've got our, who's that? Jair, our right back taking the throw. There's our centre forward. There's our right winger in field of him, and there's Rott just hovering around, ready to apply the finish when the cross comes in. Virginia having a very good game today already. 2 assists. Trying to make it very difficult for me to make the decision to switch to a wingerless system when we've got a winger as good as he is, who's got a funny name as well. Barnsley trying to get a little shot away. It wasn't very well defended by us, but thankfully they didn't manage to turn it goalwards because it's Vanna up front, and as we've already seen in 3 years, he's never scored. We sold Fraser Hornby to sign him, and I remember telling you all at the time he's as good as Fraser Hornby. Fraser Hornby wasn't perfect, but he scored more than 0 times in the 3 years he was at Barnsley. So I think that one probably has to go down as a fail. Although, would he have done better with me there as the manager? Who knows? I'm happy to see Gudger in the team. Surprised to see Denton down on the bench. But Denton's just come off the bench, I think. We're just going to watch this free kick before making a change of our own. Virginia with another free kick, and very nearly a hat-trick of assists for Virginia. Banfalvi should have done a little bit better with applying the finish there. We're going to make a couple of changes. We're going to bring on Madison for Sancho, and we've got João Victor coming on in central midfield. We're just going to drop a little bit of praise as well because it's just been a very comfortable, efficient performance today. And as you can see, as things stand, with this being our game in hand, this puts us up level on points with Arsenal. Dele Alli coming on to play up front again. We definitely need to solve this striker problem. But that puts us level on points with Arsenal as we approach the halfway point of the season. And looking good, I think, to push on for a Champions League finish this season, which I think if we miss out on the Champions League 2 years in a row, they absolutely have to sack me. But, touch wood, I think we're playing well enough that we shouldn't be worrying about that in a few episodes' time. So we are going to be jumping ahead to the end of the transfer window now. So we'll play a whole bunch of games, hopefully come back in the Champions League qualification spots, and with a few new South American youngsters as well, which would be a perfect transfer window as far as I'm concerned. I think there are a couple of our players who are attracting some interest. Banfalvi, who of course still officially has an agreement in place that if we get, I think it was a £90 million offer for him, we have agreed to let him go. It would be very, very disappointing if we had to let him go. But when you look at the calibre of clubs chasing him, we might be losing Banfalvi this summer. Van Hoesten's also being chased as well by slightly lesser clubs, because there's only one of them. And who is the other one who we might have to let go? Sancho. Sancho's the one I would happily let go, but no one's interested in him. So his is a £98.5 million. His is 82.3. I think Banfalvi is probably going to be leaving this summer because that is a who's who of rich clubs in Europe. And we were willing to pay around £80 million. We paid £89 million for him. He's only got better in that time. He's the best player at the club. He's a 5-star world-class defender at 23 years old with over 50 caps for Germany. I think that's probably the last you'll see of Banfalvi unless we can convince him not to go. I mean, could we even... If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.